Guys, please check your audio and video settings, please. Guys, please check your audio and video settings, please, everyone. Yes, boss. Total, how many advices we completed so far, guys? Total, how many advices we completed so far, guys? Come on, everyone. Around advice, before advice, after advice. What is left? Throws advice is left. Today, can we take throws advice? Today, can we develop throws advice? Come on. Today, can we think about throws advice at any cost? Come on, boss. Everyone. Yes, boss. Yeah. Throws advice, boss. This advice or expect executes when the exception is raised in the target method or advice methods of advice method that are linked with the target. Advice method that are linked with the target method. Clear, my dear? As it sounds, guys, as it sounds. This advice or expect executes only when the exception is raised in the target method or in the advice method that are linked with the target method. Got it, my dear? This advice or expect method should have the following signature. Should have the following signature. Got it? Public wide method name. Join point to JP. Parameter to hold the raised exception, guys. Parameter to hold the raised exception throws throwable. This parameter must be of type throwable or exception to hold the raised exception, to simply hold the raised exception. To simply literally hold the raised exception. Come on, my dear, are you understanding my statement, boss? Join point GP to get the method details. How you in after returning, how you taken one parameter to hold the return value, to catch and hold the return value. Here we have to take one parameter to catch and return, to catch and hold the raised exception, to catch and hold the raised exception. Comfortable, boss? Yeah, as it sounds, guys, this advice executes only when exception is raised in target method. Check it out. Target method, public. Where is the client application? Here is the client application. Client application has called business method above. Control is going to A. It is going to business method, executing business method. For certain condition, exception is raised. For certain condition, exception. The moment exception raised, control goes to after advice. Sorry, throws advice. Control goes to throws advice. Right now, boss? Logic sim throws advice executes. Generated output goes to client application. The generated output goes to client application. Everyone understanding my statement, guys? Come on. See no exception. See no exception. Yes. See no exception. Are you understanding my statement, boss? Call the business method. All the statements in business method executes. Condition is raised. Condition is raised, guys. When if exception is raised, control gone to business. Control gone to business. What is that? Advice method. All the statements in advice method executes. All the statements in advice method executes. Come on. Generated output comes to this. From here, control comes here. Okay. Java.lang.throwable is the super class of Java.lang.exception class. Throwable is error plus exception both, guys. Am I audible, guys? Am I loud and clear? Jan Chaudhary, Paradesi, you check your side. Throwable is having two subclasses. One is exception, one is error. Use cases, boss. Where throws advice will be used. The throws advice will be used in two places. One is common exception logger, other one is common exception grapher. Common exception logger, other one is common exception grapher. What do you mean by common exception logger, guys? What do you mean by common exception logger? Listen, guys, it will write only exception related messages to log file. Why, sir? Array, whenever problem is right, exception present means our project will be stopped, guys. That is called within minutes you have to up the project. Instead of opening a lot of log messages that are there, if all exception related log messages are written to separate file, going there, finding out the problem and fixing the problem becomes easy or not? Going there, finding the problem and fixing the problem will come easy or not? To write only exception related log messages to separate log file. So very useful in incident management. Whenever bank server is down, within minutes you have to upload server. Okay, at that time, instead of searching with exception related log messages along with other log messages, better to see them in what? Separate log file, exception related log file. Right now, boss. Common exception grapher, boss. What's the next one? Common exception grapher. Common exception grapher. To convert one kind of exception to another kind of exception. Generally used to convert the DAO class raised technology specific exception to the project specific user defined exception. The project specific user defined exception. Common exception logger, common exception graph. Everyone getting my point there, guys? Come on. Throws advice is not there to catch and handle the exception. It is there to develop common exception logger and common exception grapher as discussed above. Common exception logger, common exception grapher as discussed above. Comfortable, guys? Common exception logger, common exception grapher as discussed above. As discussed above. It is not there to catch and handle exception, guys. Whenever exception is raised, to write log messages to log file, to translate one kind of exception to another kind of exception. Control points are important points, guys. Being from advice method, we can access target method argument, but we cannot modify them. Using this join point to GP Rababu, we can access target method arguments, but we cannot modify them. Why, sir? Why? After executing target method, that too when exception is raised in the middle of the method, control coming to advice method. So that's why there is no question of what? Changing argument values was. Being from advice method, we cannot get and modify target method return value. Target method return value. Super. Being from advice method, we cannot control target method execution because after executing the throws advice logic, control did not comes back to target method. Being from this method, we can access target method arguments, but we cannot modify. Being from advice method, we cannot get target method return value because in the middle of the target method only control came to advice method. Being from advice method, we cannot control target method execution. Why? From target method, that to an exception raised in target method, control has come back to advice method. The control has come back to advice method. Understood, guys? Okay, guys. Common exception grapher, common exception logger. Common exception grapher, common exception logger. Okay. See, guys. After returning advice example, I'll make it as a throws advice example. After that, we will see throws advice. Boss. Shopping store, guys. Shopping store. I'll rename the file. Close all editors. Close all editors. Shopping store, guys, items and this. Items and this. See, double amount is 0, that's fine. But double amount is this, that's fine. Okay. No need of this condition because I'm going to write a different condition. I'm going to write a different condition. If items double equal to null or items dot length double equal to 0 or prices double equal to null or prices dot length double equal to 0. items double equal to null, items dot length double equal to 0, prices null double equal to null, or prices dot length double equal to 0. Here I am throwing exception. Throw new illegal argument exception. Throw illegal argument exception. Here is my invalid inputs. Here is my invalid inputs. Throw new illegal argument exception where I am saying invalid inputs. Where I am saying invalid inputs. Here is my invalid inputs. Yes, here is my invalid inputs. Double amount, this. Clear, guys? Got the clarity, my dear? Here is my stopping story.java. Here is my expect, guys. Discount coupon advice. So here I'm deleting this, guys. Deleting this. New class. Common exception logger underscore graph. Common exception logger underscore graph. Common exception logger underscore graph dot java. Everyone getting my point there, guys? Public wide. Public wide. What is this? Common exception logger. Logger and graph. Logging and graphing, boss. Logging and graphing. Logging and graphing. Logging and graphing. Logging and graphing, boss. Tell me here. Exception E. Not exception E. This is what? Join point JP. Join point JP. Join point JP. What is there, guys? Exception E. Exception E. Tell me how to make this one as a expect class, guys. First, you make it as a Spring Boot. At the rate component exp logger. Exp logger. Next one. At the rate expect. At the rate component exp logger, at the rate expect is another. At the rate expect is another. At the rate expect. Tell me now. At the rate after throwing. At the rate after throwing. Tell me next. At the rate after throwing. Here is what? Value is equal to. Tell me. Execution. What is there? Execution star. Any return type? Shopping store bill amount of fine, whatever it is. Okay. What is the return type of this method, guys? Double. Double return type. Com dot, nt dot, service dot. What is there, guys? Shopping store dot. Shopping dot. Shopping store dot shopping dot. What is the method here? Throwing. Whatever exception that is thrown should be captured into E variable now, boss. Should be captured into this E variable. Should be captured. The raised exception will be captured into this variable. Tell me, string exception message is equal to jp dot get signature method with args arrays dot to string jp dot get args. In jp dot get signature method with args, tell me, with args, arrays dot to string jp dot get args, args. Okay, E dot to string exception is raised. E dot to string exception is raised. Clear, guys? E dot to string exception is raised. What's the problem? String no need of this. E dot to string exception is raised. Right. Write the exception related log message to log file. Write the exception related log message to log. Write the exception related log message to log files. Writer is equal to new file writer of writer is equal to new file writer of exception log dot txt. Exception log dot txt. Understanding my statement, boss? Control plus shift plus. Okay, here we say throws, throw. Not there, guys. Cut it, paste it. Throws, throw, guys. Throws, throw. Here is my throws, throw. Writer is equal to new file writer of exception log.txt. Okay. Tell me. That too, I want to open in append mode, guys. Append true mode. Okay. And moreover, every time I want to get a new line. Writer dot write exception log message. Writer dot flush. Writer dot close. Writer dot flush. Writer dot translate or graph. Okay, exception. Translate or graph exception. Okay, what is the raised exception? Exception E. Now I want to convert into one user-defined exception. I want to convert this exception into one throw new invalid inputs exception. Invalid inputs exception. Tell me. Invalid inputs are given. Invalid inputs are given. True means append mode, na boss. True means append mode. When new file, new content is written, it will be appended to the existing. Throw new invalid input exception is a user-defined exception, guys. Exception to user-defined exception. User-defined exception. Got it, my dear? Yes. So let's create user-defined exception. Create a class. Create a class. There is no option of create. Create a class invalid input exception. In which package? The exception package. Okay. Main class name is what? New class. Package fine. Super class is runtime exception. What is the super class I would like to take? Runtime exception. Say finish. Runtime exception. String message, super dot message. String message, super of message. String message, super of message, guys. End of the forward. Common exception grapher, guys. Common exception grapher. Invalid input exception dot Java. Invalid input exception dot Java. Ready now, boss? Shopping store, common exception grapher. Invalid input exception dot Java. I converted technology specific exception to user defined exception or not. Redefined exception to user defined exception. Yeah, CFZ file, regular one, ra babu, nothing great. Client application throws advice test. What advice test, guys? Throws advice test. Throws advice test. Tell me, guys. Throws advice test. Throws advice test. Here, what is there? Shopping store. Proxy is equal to CTX dot get bean. Store comma. Shopping store dot. Shopping store dot class. Right click, run as Java application. Bill amount is 23,000. What's the bill amount, guys? 23,000. Right now, no exception. That's why it's coming like this. Okay. Suppose I have not passed it like this. I have, okay, this is smooth now. Okay, let me keep the same story. When exception rise, how does it looks? When exception is raised, how does it looks? Copy this, guys. Paste it, my dear. Here is my null value. Suppose I have not given any items now. Then exception will be raised. Check it out. Run as a Java application. First output came, second one, invalid inputs. Actually, raised exception is what, guys? Illegal argument exception. What it is showing, boss? Invalid inputs are given. What it is showing, my dear? Invalid inputs are given. Right now, boss? Everyone getting my point, guys? Come on, everyone. Are you able to feel it, guys? See, second one, invalid inputs are given. What is the raised exception, guys? Illegal argument. But what it is showing? Invalid. That means you are able to translate one form of exception to another form, boss. One form of exception to another form. Okay, 1 minute. You're able to write those exception related messages here. Refresh. Coupon.txt. I will, this is not reverse. This file is not required here. Yeah, this is previous one. Exception log.txt, guys. In double shopping method with arguments null and this, with arguments null and this, what is this? Illegal argument exception is raised. Invalid. See, sir, array is not coming. Array, you have to use the deep to string. If array is having, see guys, array of arrays are there, they will be converted. Deep to string. Deep to string. Throws advice test, guys. Java application. Invalid inputs are given. Yeah, look at the log file now. Look at the log file now. exp.txt. Shopping with arcs. With arcs, invalid inputs. Invalid input exception is raised. Invalid input exception is raised. Right, boss? Invalid input exception is raised. Invalid input exception is raised. Everyone getting my point? Everyone getting my point? I want reply. What the clarity? So now it is my throws advice is acting as a exception grapher come exception logger. Common exception grapher, common exception logger. Is it not doing both activities, boss? Is it not doing both activities? What is the custom exception I have taken, boss? Invalid input exception. I think I have not given invalid input exception class name. It's a normal exception, Babu, don't worry. Invalid input exception dot java. Invalid inputs exception dot java. Invalid input exception dot java. Save list. This is done. Summary of all the four advisors, guys. Summary of all the four advisors. Advice type around advice. Okay. Ability to accent, modify target method arguments? Yes. Ability to accent, modify target method return value? Yes. Ability to control target method execution? Yes. Okay. Use cases. Performance monitoring, caching, around logging, and accept. Before advice, or a summary of all the table. Before going to interview, just check this table. You will get idea about everything. Can access but cannot modify argument values. Can access but cannot modify. Ability to access and modify, no. Ability to control target method execution, no. Test driving before car purchase, right? Test driving before car purchase. Net practice before cricket match. Net practice before cricket match. After advice, can access but cannot modify. Can access but cannot modify return value. Ability to control target method execution, no. Okay, discount coupon generation for next purchase. Discount coupon purchase. Cashback based on the current purchase amount, right? Throws advice, guys. Summary of all the four advices. Throws advice. Tell me. Can access but cannot modify. Can access but cannot modify. Ability to access and modify target method return value, no. Ability to control target method execution, no. Use cases, common exception logger, common exception graph. Summary is given for all the four advices, guys. Summary is given for all the four advices, guys. What do you say? Are you getting my point? Are you understanding my statement? Everyone convinced with me, guys? All the 4 advices are given. With this, expect say AOP. AOP is done, boss. Okay. But tomorrow onwards, I'm going to start Spring MVC module. Okay. Good amount of Servlet knowledge is required. JSP knowledge is also required. Wherever I will revise, but if you have knowledge, revise it. Okay. And I want you people to complete these videos at any cost before coming to next class. I will revise, guys, but I want you people to complete these topics before coming to next class. Okay, already completed, fine. If not completed, make sure that you are going to complete. Full stack, here is what? The stream. The stream, let me, oh yes, I think already given, MVC1, MVC2. Okay. Spring Boot is not part of your course, guys. Spring Boot microservices is a separate things. Okay. Spring Boot data will be covered in microservices batch. Spring Boot and microservice batch. Okay. We will be learning Spring ORM. In this batch, you will be learning Spring ORM. Okay. Leftover modules are Spring MVC, Spring Security, Spring ORM. These are the modules that are. Okay. Upload, guys. Bootstrap learning is part of UI technologies now. While attending UI technologies classes, you have to talk all these things, please. Okay. Spring Boot morning batch, it takes, I think, right now core module is going on. Right now core module is going on. Okay. Once that is done, I will start Spring Boot there. Spring there, guys. Right. DevOps tools are same UI. I didn't understand your question. DevSecOps is separate course now, boss. DevOps tools is separate course. 715, no, 6164, AOP 18. Okay, basic means save this. You should know what is Servlet, what is web server, what is Servlet container, what is Servlet lifecycle, init method, service method, destroy method, all this stuff. If you have that, that is enough. If you have that, that is sufficient. Anyhow, Spring MVC provides abstraction on what? Servlet JSP technology. You need not to know everything from the scratch. We can enjoy the abstraction like anything, right? Okay. Yes. Again, tomorrow for a few days background preparation. What is MVC? What is a Spring MVC? Why do we need it? Yes or no? Na? Okay. Then when we can develop website by using Servlet JSP, right? Why to go for other one? Why to go for other one, right? Dilip Yadav, I always suggest not to study question and answers. Why I know? Why you know? Your first question answer is based for second question. Second question answer is based for third question. If you study FAQs, you never clear interview. You check any interview, the words, terminologies you have used in the first question answer will be the base for the second question, right? Anyhow, wherever possible, I am giving FAQs, right? Wherever possible, I am giving FAQs. And if you are that much worried about FAQs, I will tell one thing. There are so many websites, it's waste, but that preparation never makes you to clear interview. Spring Core, interview questions. Interview questions. Not one website, guys. So many interview questions websites. What is Spring? What are the advantages of Spring? What are the modules of Spring? What is IOC and DI? Come on. If you study like this, can you clear interview, Babu? What are the types of IOC? No, these people also cover entire subject. These people also cover entire subject. Only your psychological feeling, right? Array, you joined in full stack and you are trying as a full stack. All 6 domains you should study. All 6 domains. Spring JDBC question. What are the advantages of JDBC template in Spring? It provides abstraction on what? Common JDBC activities. What are the classes of Spring JDBC? We studied all these things. How can you fetch record from Spring template? Okay, by using callback interfaces. Actually, query for triplex method. What are the advantages of named parameter JDBC template? What is advantage of what? Simple JDBC template, but deprecated na boss. Deprecated. So that's why don't ever worried about what. What are the advices? What is point cut? What is expect? What is this? What is this? What is that? Spring MVC interview questions, right now. So that's why don't worry much on. You just type. If you are psychological feeling, type one question there. Okay. For freshers, vacancies will be started May end or June first week. Thank you, guys. Tomorrow onwards, Spring MVC, be mentally ready for it. Have a nice time.